Have you ever really stopped to think about the material that forms the backbone of our entire world? From the skyscrapers that define our cities to the car you drive, even the phone in your hand, steel is absolutely everywhere. It's the fundamental building block of modern life.
It's so easy to take for granted, isn't it? But this incredible material, it underpins just about every single aspect of our daily lives. It gives us the strength for our buildings, the structure for our transportation, and the framework for all our technology.
So, that gets us to the really cool questions. How is this stuff actually made? And what's this about it being recycled forever? Well, we're going to follow the incredible journey of steel from its very raw beginnings all the way to its final form, and we're going to discover the secret to its amazing infinite recyclability. Okay, let's dive into this.
So every single piece of steel in the world starts its life in one of two ways. It either begins as raw ore, dug up from the earth itself, or it starts as scrap metal, just waiting to be reborn.
Think about it like this. On one side, you have the mining path, where we're pulling brand new material right out of the planet. And on the other, you have the recycling path, this awesome, sustainable loop where we just reuse the steel we've already made, turning old stuff into new stuff. The mining process, well, it starts with a bang, literally. Explosives unearth all this rock that contains the primary iron ores, things like hematite, magnetite, and limonite, which you can see right here. This raw material then gets crushed into a super fine powder, and giant magnets pull out the valuable iron ore. Finally, it's all shaped into these little pellets, ready for the furnace.
Now, at the same time, over at the recycling plants, a totally different kind of heavy lifting is going on. We're talking about giant 10-ton electromagnets hovering over these mountains of scrap. Crushed cars, old washing machines, you name it. They can lift up to 5 tons of it in a single go, gathering up all that raw material for the recycling loop.
Okay, so whether it's freshly mined ore or salvaged scrap, both paths lead to the exact same destination, the intense, mind-blowing heat of the furnace. This is where the real transformation happens.
So you look inside one of these electric arc furnaces, and you see 3 massive graphite electrodes. They descend and then just unleash an incredible amount of energy. We're talking temperatures of 1650 degrees Celsius. That is hot enough to melt 60 tons of solid metal into this glowing, molten liquid in about an hour. It's just wild.
Now here's where it gets really interesting. Steelmaking goes from just brute force to this super precise science. A worker takes a little sample of the molten metal to figure out its exact chemical makeup. Then a supersonic oxygen lance is lowered in, blasting pure oxygen into the liquid. This refines the steel by perfectly tuning its carbon content, which is the absolute key to controlling what the final steel can do.
And believe me, carbon is everything when it comes to making steel. If you have a lower carbon content, you get a softer, more flexible steel, kind of like pure iron. But if you crank up the carbon, you get a steel that is incredibly hard and strong, but also a bit more brittle. It's this precise control that lets us create thousands of different kinds of steel, each one with a very specific job to do. All right, so once the chemistry is just perfect, how does that fiery liquid actually become a solid, usable product? Let's take a look at how it gets shaped in the final stages of production. First up, the molten steel is poured into a massive container called a ladle. From there, it gets poured into these special water-cooled copper molds. The steel cools down and solidifies really fast, forming these long, continuous blocks we call billets. These billets are then cut to length and sent to a reheating furnace where they get brought back up to over 1,000 degrees Celsius. Why? To make them soft and workable for the next step. And that next step is the rolling mill. The glowing hot billet is fed through a series of super powerful water-cooled rollers that just squeeze and stretch it out. It's amazing.
In just a matter of seconds, a billet that started at 15 centimeters thick can be compressed all the way down to just 19 millimeters, shooting out of that final roller at 35 kilometers per hour.
So after that intense rolling process, the brand new steel bars are moved to a cooling bed. Now this isn't just a place to chill out, it's a super critical step. Cooling down evenly and uniformly is what makes sure it has a consistent internal structure. It's what locks in all that strength and prevents any weak spots from forming, especially after being shaped at such insane speeds.
This, right here, is the most remarkable thing about steel. It is 100% recyclable. You can melt it down, reform it, use it, and then do it all over again, and again, and again, and it will never lose its fundamental strength or durability. That makes it a truly permanent material, which is absolutely vital for our modern infrastructure. It means we have this reliable, sustainable source of high-strength material without constantly having to dig up new resources.
And this just shows you how huge that is. Today, over 70% of the steel produced all around the world comes from recycled sources. That is a massive functioning circular economy that dramatically reduces the need for constant mining.
So the next time you see a piece of rusted metal, just remember, it's not waste. It's a resource. A piece of steel that was forged for a bridge 150 years ago could very well become part of the next spacecraft, or a new skyscraper, or even the smartphone of tomorrow, just endlessly reborn.